going on? I'm coming back at you with another quick Apex Legends video. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about things that hold you back from being a pro Apex Legends player. Okay? So we all dream about being pro gamers and everything like that. We all dream, and a lot of people dream about becoming a pro, and whether that's a pro content creator in Apex or a pro player. And I'm going to give you 5 things that hold you back from being a professional Apex Legends player specifically, okay? That I've noticed in other players. And first off, I want to say that I have many, many years in Apex Legends and many, many years in gaming in general. And I've been a part of a tier 1 esports team, or, competitive, blah, blah, blah. They had pro rosters. I've been a part of a team, and if you've heard of the team, it's called Mystic Esports, and it was and probably still is a tier 1 gaming team. So like, I didn't get contracted, but I was a content creator. But basically, guys, here, let's get into it. The first thing that's holding you back from being an actual pro, and some of these will actually kind of like be a little bit hard hitting to your soul, that maybe you're not training in the right way, etc. But just know that if you practice in the right ways, etc., things will always get better. And if you stay to it. But let's get into it. Lack of motivation. Okay, so one thing I see a lot of people lack, a lot of people that want to become pro gamers lack, is motivation. So rather that's just getting on the game, actually playing the game, or actively making content, everything like that. And one of the biggest things I could say is having a lack of motivation to play Apex is always a sign that you're likely not going to become a professional figure in Apex Legends or in any esports title. And that is because if you don't have motivation, then you're just not going to do it. You're not going to actively pursue it. But some people I've noticed have want to become pro gamers, and they always complain about other people being, or hate other people that are pro gamers. But you see, the people that grinded every single day for like 20 years to become a pro gamer, not saying that's a thing, but I'm saying the people that grind the hardest every single day, and even no matter what life throws at them, always have a motivation, a motivation to become a pro. So if you lack motivation, if you lack that intense level of motivation and determination to become a pro Apex player, then you're just not going to become a pro Apex player. And then the second one is lack of effort. If you have a lack of effort, and it depends which way you think about it, like effort in meaning like, you know, putting the videos out on YouTube or anywhere you can to gain the traction to help you eventually become contracted to a pro esports team. If you lack that effort, that motivation and effort, those two key things, then you're likely never going to become a pro gamer. So in general, But yeah, let's get into the third one. Lack of practice in the right ways. So there's so many people that practice nowadays on Apex Legends, but the thing is that people practice in the wrong ways, in my opinion. And this is from just personal experience and personally watching friends that are so good at the game and could go pro. But the thing is that they rather follow trends on how to practice instead of building up their own ways to practice for themselves without having to pay attention to trends or base it off of a trend. Because what works for one person could, not work as good for another person. So learning how to practice in the right ways on Apex Legends will help you definitely become a pro, because the fact that building your own routine and your own way of getting better at the game and staying up to date, etc., is going to make you above the rest compared to the people that just follow. Like, I see a lot of people um, doing the firing range, you're not shooting a moving player, a real player, that's not teaching you anything. That's like playing bots in Call of Duty. That doesn't teach you anything. That's like basics. You should know that. But yeah, that's an example. Um, let's go into the fourth one, following what others do too much. Okay, so I feel like a lot of people that want to become pro gamers and pro Apex players in general that I've seen and like friends lack the capability to do what their own thing and succeed at their own or succeed at in their own way. So many people tend to follow, like if someone says to land somewhere, obviously you go there, right? But they're not doing it because their mind is telling them to follow that person. They're not thinking about it in a strategic way, okay? They're just doing it impulsively. They're following that teammate instead of like maybe thinking twice and being like, hey, maybe I shouldn't land with this player because he's level 10, and you're like level 100. You see, and then having the practice behind you in the right ways would help you in being able to fight players. If your whole squad dies and they leave the match, like a lot of people do nowadays, then you would have that experience, that practice in the right ways that would help you um, be able to finish the match on your own. It doesn't even matter if you have teammates. You see, that's a practice thing that you should practice. But yeah, following what others do too much is a big no-no if you're trying to become a pro in anything. And then a lack of a social media presence. I've seen this time in and time again. So many kids, so many young adults, etc., want to become pro gamers, but they never have a social media presence, and they refuse to ever even want to have anything to do with social media at any age after that. But yeah, they're always saying like, "Oh, I want to be a pro gamer. I wish I was contracted to a team." Blah 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 blah. Then do it. Do the essentials to do it. You lack motivation, effort, practicing in the right ways, which would be social media, and doing the essentials, etc. Following others do too much. Boom. That's like following what your parents would rather have you do instead of you. Boom. Easiest way to explain it. Why you should have a social media presence if you are planning on becoming a, you know, public figure in the Apex Legends scene. You have to build up a social media presence. There is like no other way nowadays. But yeah, that's an essential. And honestly, who doesn't have those social media platforms in 2025? But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace. I hope you guys took something away from it. Thank you.